all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey. How we doing, everybody? Thank you so much, Pierre. Said back to cooking them oxtail plates. Listen when I say. Y'all need to go ahead and get your plate. Thank you so much for the early contribution. Appreciate it, Charles, for the super sticker. Appreciate you. You always coming through with the much needed contribution and much appreciated contribution as well. We're going to talk about this whole DEI thing. Okay. Thank you so much, Frederick, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. We're going to talk about this whole DEI thing. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree that Black people in general and Black women specifically have become the face of DEI, like in the public's mind. Put a 1 if you agree. Put a 2 if you disagree. Put a 1 if you agree that Black people in general and Black women specifically have become the face of DEI. Put a 2 if you disagree with that statement. Okay. So we pretty much on board with the understanding that in our colloquial understanding that DEI is often linked to Black people, Black women, and that Black women are kind of the face of that. Yeah, of the left period, I would agree there as well. We may touch that a little bit, but right now, I'm gonna focus it a little bit. Okay. I want you to thank you once again for the contributions. Red Room Entertainment, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Is this the first time that you've contributed? I don't know that I've seen you before, but welcome to the Crimson Cure, and thank you so much. Now I would like for you to put a thumbs up if DEI automatically means unqualified or underqualified. Put a thumbs down if you disagree with that. Put a thumbs up if you agree with the sentiment that the perception is that DEI automatically means unqualified or underqualified. Put a thumbs down if you disagree with that statement. Because we're going to talk about a couple of things. All right, we got some thumbs up. So y'all with me? Because I need you to walk with me today. Because I think people need to hear, the people in the back they didn't hear it. They don't hear nothing. What'd that say? What'd that say? Didn't I say this the other day? Common sense question. If white women were the biggest beneficiaries of DEI and Black people only comprised about 4% of DEI positions in the workforce, then why have Black people been made the face of DEI? Shouldn't it be white women? Make it make sense. Because we say that stat that we only benefited about 4% overall, Black men and women, from the DEI initiative. Yet, white women benefited more, but they don't parade them around as the face of DEI. They don't attach the imagery of white women to unqualified, underqualified, because when Trump started rolling back the DEI, he fired Black women. To date, about 300,000 or more Black women have been laid out and put out of the workforce. Now, before we start cheering about were they strong and independent, I want you to take a step back and look at that from another angle. If Black women were not the highest beneficiaries of the DEI initiative, then why is it that when it was rolled back, they fired Black women and not white women? Shouldn't white women have been? But they didn't want to attach the imagery of white women to DEI, because DEI was supposed to mean that you were unqualified for the position, that you were underqualified for the position, and that they had to hire you just to round it out. But you didn't belong in the same room as the people that they were hiring. All right. So if the data, this is the follow-up question. So if the data shows that out of all demographics, white women fill the majority of DEI positions in the workforce, then why are Black people the butt of all the DEI jokes? Seems it's a bit backwards to me. Okay. Seven months ago, this was posted. Why white women benefited the most from DEI programs. Some Americans are shocked to learn that Black people are not the primary beneficiaries of DEI programs, because for many, these policies are synonymous with discussions about race. While companies voluntarily adopted policies to address racial discrimination in the workplace during the 60s and 70s, they were designed to help a number of marginalized groups, including religious minorities and veterans. White women have benefited the most from DEI programs, while women remain underrepresented at every stage of the corporate pipeline. A McKinsey study estimated it would take about 48 years for women of color to achieve gender parity, while only 22 years for white women to reach this milestone. Companies that uplift white women to leadership positions are often applauded for advancing diversity, even when they fail to extend those same opportunities to Black women and men. Since private companies decide if, when, and how these programs are applied, and there is no referee in the game, so to speak, the outcomes have not satisfied the goal of advancing racial equity. Now, before I get into the meat and potatoes, we have to understand what DEI was stated to be. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. If we take the upfront statements about what that was supposed to achieve, it was supposed to open up industries by incentivizing companies, businesses, things of that nature to actually hire qualified individuals that were not white men. Because you're missing out on qualified individuals who could actually help your company grow, who could help your bottom line, but you're limiting yourself to white men. But white men are not the only people who are qualified. White men are not the only people who know what they're doing. We got so many other different people. We got Black people. We have people from India. We have Asians. We have all kinds of different people that are well qualified to be in these spaces. But you are overlooking those spaces. You are overlooking those candidates for jobs and for career opportunities because of your bias. Mind you, there was already equal opportunity employing, which was supposed to be what DEI ended up being. Equal opportunity employment was supposed to say that it was illegal for our company to discriminate along the lines of race and gender and sex and disability and things of that nature. That they would give a fair opportunity to anybody that was applying for these positions and things of that nature, that they would not use the hiring process to discriminate based on their biases. You accepted or rejected candidates based on merit. Were they qualified for the job? Would they fit in the company? Were they a good fit as an employee? Could you use them to represent your company properly? You do a background check, you make sure they're not criminals, things of that nature. And if they fit all of the criteria, then you hire them. But what companies was doing was agreeing on paper to equal opportunity employment. But in practice, they were still doing the whole discrimination thing, because as long as they accepted your resume, they could say they took a look at it. And then they can still tell you, well, you wasn't qualified for the job. Or, we have hundreds of people applying for this job. We can't hire everybody. And we are just looking for the right fit. Only to end up only hiring white men to fill jobs that other people are willing to do, that want to do it, that would love to do it. Y'all with me so far? So equal opportunity employment was already on the books as a legal thing. But in practice, most companies were not doing that. They could only say, we accepted the resume. We even interviewed them. They got to the interview process. They got to the interview portion. And it just wasn't a good fit. So they were making a show of it, but once the company was broken down into the demographics of its employees, they're everybody white. So how is it that everybody's still white? So you mean to tell me the hundreds of Black people or the whomever else that was non-white, that nobody was qualified? Nobody, especially for high demand positions. So nobody's qualified for this stuff. Just white people, just white people, just overwhelmingly so. You might get the token Black, and then that's it. So nobody's qualified. That's what we're saying. Because they got Black people on the internet trying to say, based on the statements of CK, you got Black folk on the internet trying to argue whether or not Black pilots are qualified to be in a cockpit somewhere. As if you could just drag a Black man off the street and throw him in a cockpit. He don't know the first thing about a plane, and just to fill the quotas, we dragging anybody off the street. Nobody questions whether or not the white boy, he deserved that. Nobody questions the white woman, which is why she's not the face. She's not the face of DEI, despite being the biggest beneficiary of it, because nobody questions whether white people have a right to be where they at. Say I'm lying. When the last time you went somewhere and saw some white people behind a desk or in a suit or somewhere, directing traffic, and you thought they don't deserve to be in that position? How they get that position? But when we look at black people, whether it's male or female, and they're somewhere directing traffic, we be trying to figure out how they get over there. Now we start questioning whether or not they know what they talking about. Do they know their job? Do they know what's going on? Black women, let me talk to you for a minute, because we told y'all that DEI was a scam. We told y'all that. We told y'all that as recently as this last election, because the left was running on the DEI scam. We told y'all this after the election, when y'all started targeting for boycott Target and other companies that rolled back DEI. We were telling you that black people and black women are not the biggest beneficiaries of it in the first place. So why are you going so hard in the paint? Why are you going so hard in the paint for an initiative that does not benefit you? Just like affirmative action, it benefited white women. Just like welfare, that benefited white women. But you became the face of the welfare queen, not her. You became the face of affirmative action, not her. Now you're the face of DEI hiring and firing. Now they getting rid of you. You likely were not hired through the DEI initiative in the first place. So you were qualified for your job. The black men who have been fired, quote unquote, because they rolled back DEI were likely not even hired as a part of the DEI initiative anyway. So he was qualified for his job anyway. Yet, when they roll back DEI, they firing us. You put a target on your back, black women, first of all, for riding with the liberals all the time, no matter what. And for making yourself the face by protesting it so hard, talking about it's unfair and it's racist to repeal DEI. It was not racist because you weren't benefiting. White women were. They were benefiting. Why? So why don't white women talk about the repeal of DEI? Why aren't white women? Let me break something down. Before we get to Mrs. Cartwright, let me break something down to you. You have always been a pawn, and you ain't tired. You ain't tired. You ain't tired. Like, is you cool? Because you always been a pawn for Mr. Cartwright and everything he got going on. He make you the face of every piece of foolishness. Every piece of foolishness, he make you the face. And you willingly go over there to jump and hoop and holler. You didn't believe us. You did not believe the black men and women that were telling you this is not for you. We are not the demographic that is benefiting the most. So why are you so up in arms about whether or not Target is rolling back DEI? Then got mad at Miss Tabitha because she tried to tell you when you first started it, you're actually gonna hurt us. The boycott is gonna hurt us more than the repeal of the DEI because DEI don't hurt us. it neither helped us nor did it hurt us. So them taking away DEI didn't do nothing to us. You boycotting where Black people have their businesses and worked hard to put their things on a big box shelf, in contracts with these people, you can't just walk away from that. Once your name is on the dotted line and shipments is being sold and things are being distributed, you can't just walk out of that contract. So the business owners are going to suffer more from the boycott than they doing from the DEI rollback, because they're not DEI hires in the first place. These are people who are entrepreneurs that built the business. They're not DEI. Nobody's hiring them. They hired themselves. Y'all got mad at her when she said that. Y'all got mad at her when she said that. Did you not? So Black women, you championed it. So that's why you're the brand. You're the brand. Because they can get you to get out and march and canvas and get on TV and get on social media and champion these causes. They can get you to do it because you always trying to do something to get in Mr. and Mrs. Cartwright's good graces. You stay trying to be in Mr. and Mrs. Cartwright good graces, and they constantly work against you. They be in cahoots against you. Because he ain't firing her. She not speaking out against Target and other companies rolling back the DEI because she not going to get fired. Regardless of the fact that she benefited the most, she knows she ain't going nowhere because she white. And she didn't make herself the face of an initiative that is associated with being underqualified or unqualified for the position. She got sense enough not to tie herself to lowbrow thinking. She got sense enough not to do that. You don't. You ain't never had sense enough not to do that. No matter that we told you that. The only time white women started talking about DEI, first off, they never talk about it in the same way, nor do they ever champion DEI in the same manner as Black women. They never talk about it the same way. They never talk about how racist it is and how much they're going to lose by DEI no longer being an initiative. They never talk about that. The only time they talk about it is when they're like Democrats or whatever, and they're talking about it politically or socially, you know, to seem like the good guy that's sticking up for the unqualified Black folk that just trying to get a job. We're speaking up for the Negroes that wouldn't be able to get in the door unless they were DEI, knowing full well she the one taking all the DEI pie. She done ate the whole DEI cake. She ate it. It ain't nothing but like one slice left. And she talking about something, well, we're trying to make sure that underrepresented minorities such as Black men and specifically Black women who are underrepresented in these companies and in higher positions, we're trying to make sure that they get a fair opportunity to, be considered seriously for these opportunities. And never once do she say, I'm the me. I ate all the cake. I ate all the cake. It's like one slice left, but I ate the rest of it. I mean, are y'all with me with that? Am I bugging? Because she know her man ain't going to get rid of her. He put her in positions of power to help him. Just like a certain individual now has control over a certain company. She qualified to run that? Did she run that? DEI at its finest, and is a white woman. They put her in positions so she can help them. That is, they have used DEI to do that. They've even used Me Too to do it. They used Me Too to do it too. A couple of men had to be sacrificed, whatever. We're going to put these white women in certain positions. We're going to give them the CEO position. We're going to give them, it's always got to be a sacrifice. It's always collateral damage, whatever. You got to be collateral damage, whatever. We're going to put them in because we're going to put this stuff in their name. Y'all be thinking that these people be getting divorced because they're mad at each other. Bill Gates and his wife got a divorce. They're not mad at each other. They're not mad at each other. That's why I never covered it from that perspective. Oh, she left and she... That's more or less a tax thing. Put all that stuff in her name. Put all that paperwork and stuff like that in that woman's name. Get it out of his name. Get these assets over there. Put these assets over here. Put these assets over there. Sever the legal tie of the marriage because we don't need that. We don't need the state and all that kind of stuff in our business because we married and da 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 da. As far as the paperwork go, we're not together anymore. That don't stop them from being together. That do not stop them from being together at all. See, them getting divorced and you getting divorced is two different things. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then we're going to finish cooking because I got so much other stuff to talk about. But after these messages, we'll be right back. Because I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. You want to keep your skin looking and feeling its best, all right? Then you definitely need the body butter that is on the screen in front of you. If this is going to be your first order, first of all, don't know what you've been waiting on. Second of all, if it's going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using a promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Oh, you guys are bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button for me. LTD, thank you, said DEI isn't us, and we are just the costume. Check out Mrs. Cartwright and the alphabet community have surged ahead because of it. Thank you once again. Said at the federal level, anyone with a DEI position was terminated. This isn't our fight. I don't understand why we're dying on this hill. We didn't even benefit from this or woke ideologies. The reason why we got to talk about it is because regardless of the fact that we were not the beneficiaries of it, we're being targeted as the firing for it. They're getting rid of us in positions that didn't have nothing to do with DEI. So they're running a scam. It's a bait and switch. The white women are not taking the brunt of that because they're not the face of it. I'm not saying no white women, but white women didn't take the brunt of that. Black women did, specifically. Black people in general, black women specifically. And because we also thought DEI meant black. People was like, oh, well, they probably was DEI hires. Not likely. The likelihood was less that the black people were DEI hires than the white people were. Yet the black people are the ones suffering the unemployment as a result of we're pulling back on DEI. right? So that they're not necessarily putting more qualified people in there, they're putting white people in it. Hey Rainbow Kid, how you doing? Thank you so much. And meanwhile, non-melanated pilots are flying planes into the ground and not a peep about their race. Exactly. Thank you. Twisted Gamer said white only pie. Claude Banks. Thank you so much. Miss Lucas says it's been a while. Good to see you doing your thing. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate you. And of course, thank you, Mogul, for your contribution. I appreciate you as well. Okay. So, Black women, you championed for an initiative that was never designed to help you, and it didn't. It didn't. You are not the biggest beneficiary of it at all. White women are. But they won't say that. Okay? To continue on. Selecting white women to fill leadership positions produces a more favorable public image. Yet, when companies avoid the more challenging objective of fostering racial diversity, they undermine the value of the diversity. Research has indicated that while increasing women's overall representation is necessary, it's insufficient for addressing the challenges that women of color face navigating professional careers. Okay, we're going to skip a little bit. We're going to go. On top of white women benefiting the most from DEI policies, they were also the group most likely to benefit from affirmative action policies. While many believe these policies only address racial disparities, gender-based affirmative action policies were more readily implemented. A 1995 study found that at least 6 million women, the majority of whom were white, had jobs they wouldn't otherwise hold because of this policy. Okay. Historically speaking, white women have ascended the golden escalator of progress, often at the expense of racial minorities. While frequently portrayed as innocent damsels in distress, researchers have demonstrated that 40% of white women enslaved people in the southern states. Black people were often gifted to white women as part of inheritance or dowries. So they kind of going back into the history of how white women ain't never been down for the other women. It's always been a play and a ploy. This is the same thing they did with you with feminism. Got you in. You became the representation of radical feminism. We don't need men. Men are horrible. Blah, 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 blah. They got you in to bolster the numbers. And then they faded in the back. Let you take the hit. Let you take the hit. Let you burn your community down. Let you burn your family down. Let you burn your womanhood down. Let you misrepresent your femininity and your womanhood. They went back to their husbands. Because they're not the minority. They have support that you would never have. Mrs. Cartwright hates you, just like Mr. Cartwright hates you. They both sit in a room and rub their feet together about how much they cannot stand the little stupid pawn that you like to try to be. I told you, Mr. and Mrs. Cartwright always break their toys when they're done with you. You no longer serve the purpose. So forget you. Forget you, forgot you, never thought about you. So now that Black women are the face of DEI, but not the main beneficiary of it. It's the retraction of it is now a perfect excuse to remove you from any kind of position, whether it was the result of DEI or not. This destabilizes you. This is what it means. Winter is here. It destabilizes you financially. It destabilizes Black families financially, because every Black woman that's working is not a hyena. I explained this to you. There are working lionesses who contribute to their households financially. And the taking of her out of her job is a loss of income for her household. It destabilizes the family financially, because now it puts 100% burden on the man to uphold everything when it was a joint effort before. Mary, can you get by on one income at this point? Lots of people need the dual income. So I don't even know why this is 50-50 conversation. I mean, the women don't want to go. Most people are doing dual income because you have to. You have to. You have no choice. So it is a destabilization not only of single Black women who do not have a husband or family structure to help them, but also it is a destabilization of Black families that are intact. Because if you take the lioness's share away from her household struggles now. Difficult for her to go and find something else. Because now don't nobody want to do a DEI hire. Ain't that something? And we don't know why white women are not suffering from the effect of the repeal of DEI, of them walking it back. Because that's the question I asked you the other day. If white women are the beneficiary primarily of DEI initiatives, then why aren't they suffering? They have their husbands. They're not going to get fired because they white. Nobody questions whiteness. Nobody questions whiteness. When white women are somewhere barking orders, when white men are somewhere barking orders, when white women are somewhere behind a desk telling you which way to go and this, that, and the third, and what you got to do and who ain't there and who, nobody questions whether or not she was qualified to be there. We just assume that she is. That's why she'll never get fired when they repeal DEI, because she ain't a DEI even if she was. What more proof do you need than the pudding? She ain't a DEI even if she is. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. She ain't a DEI even if she is. Boop, 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 boop. By virtue of their whiteness, they qualified to tell you what's what. Y'all think in 2025 that ain't so? Mr. Cartwright be in them cockpits sniffing lines, sniffing ski slopes to stay up. He's sniffing ski slopes and chasing it with scotch on the rocks. But ain't nobody scared to get on a plane with him in the cockpit, right? Mr. Cartwright, he good on the cockpit, right? I'm going to show y'all a little something about what exactly they think of their toys when it's time to throw them away. This is Mr. Fuentes. I don't know why he think he Mr. Cartwright, but he seemed to think he Mr. Cartwright, and he talking like Mr. Cartwright. This says once Mr. Cartwright done using you, throw you away. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics April jobs report shows Black women lost 106,000 jobs last month, the highest rate of unemployment among all workers. Let's hear what he got to say.
Think she's some kind of boss bitch. Yeah, you're a bitch, but like you didn't get that way because you're a super smart boss. You got that way because you're super bitchy black token. Like, it is what it is. So I don't know that anyone's ever told her that, but that's the obvious. And I'm kind of done with all the Uncle Toms. In a way, I'm done with all the Uncle Toms. I'm done with Jason Whitlock. I'm done with Candace Owens. I'm done with all the Uncle Tom token blacks. Like, you're not that smart. You're not even that conservative. You built your career on a grift that is now dead. You were hired when diversity quotas were a thing. You were hired when white guilt is a thing. I don't feel white guilt. I never have. DEI is over. So now you're done. You need to be fired. Like, you're done. And she thinks she's some kind of boss.
They break their tools when they're done. They talk about you like a dog when they done. When they done with you and your usefulness has run out and they can't parade you around like a youthful Negro, when they can't use you no more, when they can't puppet you around no more, when you won't be the Sambo, when you won't be the watermelon eating, fried chicken eating, tap dancing, minstrel show Sambo that they need, you go ahead on that. Don't talk to them. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to have nothing to do with you. They don't want to talk to you. They are not there for you. They are not here with you. They are not seeing eye to eye with you. They do not want a conversation with you. They do not want to live next to you. They do not, none of that. None of it. They don't want any of it. He said it's a grift that's gone. It is a grift that's gone, though. It's gone. Okay. So just to go back over it, the real reason that they made Black women the face of DEI was to obfuscate the fact, the statistical fact, that white women really should have been the face of DEI. But they made DEI be synonymous with unqualified. Unqualified. You were not qualified. If you were not white and a company hired you, you were not qualified to be there. And you got folks on this internet that are fighting like cats and dogs about DEI hires and whether or not they was qualified or not, and Black people. Here's my problem with a lot of Black folks, with a lot of raccoons. My problem with y'all is that y'all take whatever premise that is given to you and you don't even question the premise. You just start arguing the so-called details. But the details are fake because the premise is a straw man. They give you a straw man argument to argue over, and you do it. The straw man argument is that DEI benefit Black people and Black people are unqualified. Instead of saying, why would that be so? Who actually benefited? And the saddest part about it is, it's a lot of y'all that'll sit there and will acknowledge that white women were the face of the biggest beneficiaries of DEI, and Black women only benefited 4%. And you will still talk about how Black women wasn't qualified because they was hired as DEI. You will still do it. So when information comes to you, you don't change your position. You believe everything. That's absolutely right. You believe everything that Mr. Cartwright tell you, and you believe it the way he say believe it. That's the crazy part to me. You believe it in the way that he say believe it. You hear it in the way he tell you you gotta hear it. You don't know how to think. You refuse to think for yourself. Y'all so busy trying to make Mr. Cartwright right about everything that you don't even bother to check his resume. Nobody questions whether white people are right or not. Nobody questions whether Mr. Cartwright know what he talking about. Nobody questions if Mr. Cartwright knows any facts. He Mr. Cartwright, and what he say go. Nobody questions him. All he got to do is slick his hair back and put a little tie, something like that, and maybe have a little bit of, charisma to him, and nobody questions him. They be dumb as a post. They the biggest, Mr. and Mrs. Cartwright, the biggest DEI hires ever. It amazes me that y'all do this. This is exactly right. So Mr. Cartwright is seen as an extension of the power structure, even if he's a buffoon. We assume he's connected if he's a fool, so we don't say anything. You can't tell me how many times I've watched that dynamic play out where a black man and a white man will maybe be in business together or something like that. They show up together in order to talk business with somebody else, and everybody assumes the white man is in charge. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever seen that play out in any form. I've seen it plenty of times. Plenty of times. Like I'm talking about, I've seen it in real time, in real life. A black man and a white man will be going somewhere, and there was a few times where the black man was actually in charge, not the white guy. The white guy was the worker, brought the worker with him, was trying to talk about, they trying to refer stuff to the white man. He don't know nothing. I'm Mr. Such and such. Oh, you Mr. Yes, me. Who you talking to? He does not have the details of what you looking for. He don't know what's going on. He knows specific things. I'm the owner of the business. What are we saying? Oh. You seen it, Elder Ben? I know you done seen it. If anybody that go around anybody and do any kind of business or watch folk do business or watch people have meetings and watch people kind of just look at if it's different races involved, look at the dynamics and see how other people treat it. Exactly. I have watched black men get things off the ground by putting a white face in front of it. Because people assume, people don't question. That's the worst part. They don't question if Mr. Cartwright got a right to be there, or has the right to own something, or has the right to dictate things. They never question it. They never question. I have not seen it be questioned one time in any significant setting or way. Never. I've never seen it. No, you missed the point. You missed the point. You missed my whole point. I would recommend you watch the replay. Yeah. Just peep game. Go to a coffee shop, go to a place where, you know what I'm saying, somebody might meet somebody with a business or have a discussion about something, and just watch the dynamics be at play. I ain't never seen it fail one time. The white if there is a racial difference between the people, and one's white, one's black, or one's white and one is quote unquote non-white, or whatever the case may be, no matter who, especially if they melanated people. The only time that don't necessarily always is if it's a white and an Asian. You might think the Asian might be in charge of you. It's 50-50 on that. But if they're white and the other person is melanated, oh, baby, the white person is in charge. I ain't seen it fail yet. Not yet. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to start wrapping this up. The most dangerous part of so much of how black folk like to think is that they take on whatever Mr. and Mrs. Cartwright say about Black people, and they don't even try to think about it. They just accept it as the truth. You still accepting what your slave master say. Ain't that a shame? Y'all ain't tired? Y'all ain't tired of this? We keep the foolishness going, Mr. Mark. We keep it going. We keep it going. We take everything they say and perpetuate it endlessly. Thank you, Timothy, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Devon, for your super sticker as well. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much again, Timothy, for gifting the memberships. If you were gifted a membership, please maintain. And this is for you.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, DT, for your super sticker. I appreciate that as well. Thank you again, Charles, for your contribution. Once again, I appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Mark, for your super sticker. Appreciate that as well. Thank you, Mr. Vincent. Said, thanks for the reminder, but our sister's still clueless. But smartly, you understand, as long as you say the truth, silencing stays at bay. Don't stop. Hey, twin, what's going on? So people better realize Mr. and Mrs. Cartwright is Raggedy Ann and Andy, and Mr. Cartwright is Mr. Monopoly and Pennywise at the same time. They both harvesting people's souls. Souls float, huh? Exactly. Thank you, Elder Ben. I appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much. And thank you, Miss Riri, for gifting a Crimson Cure membership. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. And for whoever received that.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
All right. Listen, and I promise you that I'm not the best stat girl. I'm really not. I rarely quote a lot of stats because I don't look up a lot of stats and things of that nature. But the fact that none of it ever really gets contested properly, that's crazy to me. That's crazy work. We don't like thinking good of ourselves. We don't like thinking good about ourselves. We don't like it. We like thinking bad about who we are. Stop thinking bad about who you are. Because we can't be doing all of this crime and doing all of this foolishness and in the same breath say that most Black people are law-abiding citizens that don't have criminal records and we are not involved in criminal activity. So how majority of us not criminals don't have a criminal record, not involved in criminal activity, yet we do all the crime? Like, you gotta pick one. Because we done got to a point where we like these talking points and we use them not to edify one another, not to get to a better space, not to understand what's going on so we can solve a problem. We getting these talking points and we whooping each other with them. And that is not what I do. That is not what my channel is for. When I talk about the ills of the Black community and the ills of Black women, it is not to whoop you just to be whooping you. Because I want the statistics to change. I want us to get on an upward trajectory in a way that benefits us as a whole, as a community. This is why I don't talk down on marriage. I don't talk down on these things, because these are the things that are actually going to help us collectively. We like to whoop each other. I'm waiting on other information to come out. I'm kind of hoping that their family will do an independent autopsy for the young man. I have not said anything about that case because on the surface we see what it is, right? It's kind of obvious. They're trying to say he self-deleted. I don't know no Black man in the South that would use that way as a way of self-deletion. Knowing it's like that don't even make sense to me. But that is why I have not spoken, because I'm kind of waiting on if there's going to be more information. For all I know, they could probably bury that story, but I'm looking for more information personally. So that's why I haven't said nothing about it. Listen, it's always like, who y'all talking to? They talking to these dumb Negroes. Who they talking to? I realized who they was talking to. The dumb Negroes is supposed to spread the stupidity and the foolishness among everybody else because it's coming out of their mouth. We supposed to be more attentive to it. So here's the thing before I wrap it up. I don't know which of you Black women are going to get a backbone and stop letting Mr. and Mrs. Cartwright puppeteer you for everything. I don't know which one of y'all gonna, but somebody gonna have to stop doing that. Because every time they come up with a half-hearted cockamamie plan, you jump right on board and you don't even get paid for being in it. Like, that's the crazy part to me. Like, y'all be doing this is free labor. They do not reward you for none of it. You ain't got paid yet. Your personal lives and your collective lives, family lives, are in shambles because of the feminism that they convinced you to perpetuate, and you ain't got nan payment for that. You sitting here suffering and broke. You suffering and broke. That's crazy work. All you have gotten is baby mamaism, situationships, and trying to leech on and latch on to some man somewhere that'll have you for a couple of dollars. It's a sad state. Anyway, let's see. Was it any more? No. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. I want everybody to go here for me. Everybody go here for me and pick up your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine. If you go to crimsoncure.com, you can first book a session for coaching. I do coaching sessions and things of that nature. If you click the button right here, it takes you to a landing page where you can book a 2-hour or a 1-hour session. It goes through the process very cleanly, very smoothly, and very easily so that you can go ahead and automatically set up a coaching session. All right. If you want to go ahead and make a purchase of Reclaiming the Black Feminine, all you have to do is come down, hit the buy now button. It takes you securely through PayPal in order to make your payment. And then, you'll be able to receive the book. It'll be shipped out at my earliest convenience for you. And you'll be able to have this book at your fingertips. Okay. So run out and go and get your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine, Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, on sale right now. All right. We're going to get off of here. All right. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.